Hello. We're going to discuss a case study related to various aspects of mergers and acquisition. We've already discussed merger and acquisition previously, and this case study is a critical measurement and critical analysis of the way mergers and acquisitions takes place. Merger and acquisition has become part of contemporary modern economic world, and firms are regularly employing these tactics to gain entry into the world of economic trade. Merger and acquisition has actually, the volume of it has increased along with increase in world trade. Economies has expanded and corporates across the globe has related themselves to inorganic part of external growth. We are taking up Hindalco's acquisition of Novelis. Hindalco, an Indian conglomerate, Nobilis of United States. Last decade or so witnessed a very large growing appetite for takeovers by Indian corporates across the globe. In this chain, Indian aluminum giant Hindalco, which is a Birla Group company, acquired Atlanta-based company Novelis, which is a world leader in aluminum rolling and flat-rolled aluminum products. Hindalco acquired Novelis to gain sheet mills that supply can makers and car companies. Strategically, the acquisition of Novelis takes Hindalco into the global stage and made it the leader in downstream aluminum rolled products. The transaction makes Hindalco one of the world's largest aluminum rolling company and one of the biggest producers of aluminum, primary aluminum in Asia. As well as it has the distinction of being India's leading copper producer. The aluminum sector is characterized by large integrated players like Hindalco and National Aluminum Company. The other producers of primary aluminum in India includes Alco and Indal. Indal has now merged with Hindalco, then Balco Bharat Aluminium and Madras Aluminium Malco. These Balco and Malco, the erstwhile public sector undertakings, has been acquired by Sterlite Industries of the Vedant Group. The per capita consumption of aluminium in India is only 0.5 kg, which was in contrast with that of 25 kg in United States and 19 kg in Japan, 10 kg in Europe also. Even the world's average per capita consumption is about 10 times of that of India, so world average is 5 kg. One reason for low consumption of aluminium could be that consumption pattern is vastly different from that of developed countries. The demand of aluminium is only going to expected to grow about 9% per annum from the present consumption level in the next 25 years. And industry is thinking that ultimately aluminum products, roll sheets, milling products are going to ultimately to replace the consumption of steel all over the world. This sector is going through a consolidation phase, and existing producers are in the process of enhancing the production capacity so that a demand supply gap expected can be bridged. However, India is a net exporter of aluminium and aluminium metal sheets at present. The following features characterizes the Indian aluminium industry. It is highly concentrated industry with only 5 primary plants in the country. It's an oligopoly market controlled only by a few players. The, the energy inputs are primarily electricity, coal and furnace oil. All plants have their own captive power units for cheaper and uninterrupted power supply. Energy is 40% of manufacturing cost for metal and 30% for rolled products. Energy management is a critical focus in all of the plants present in India, thereby reducing the cost of production. Each plant has their own energy management cell. High cost of technology is the main barrier in achieving high energy efficiency. Now about Hindalco. Hindalco Industry is the flagship corporation company of Aditya Birla Group. This group is structured into two specific business alliances, that of aluminium and copper. This industry has an annual revenue of $14 billion and a market capitalization of more than $23 billion. Hindalco commenced its operations in 1962 and today it has grown to become country's largest integrated aluminium producer and the 5th largest foil aluminium and total aluminium producer in the world. It also ranks among the top few of low-cost producers in the world. The aluminium division's product range includes aluminium chemicals, primary aluminum ingots, billets, rolled products, extrusions, wire rods, foils and alloy wheels. Alloy wheels has become an irreplaceable unit of automobile industry. Its various divisions has almost holding more than 30% market share in different divisions. Primary aluminium takes 42% of India's market. Rolled product has whopping 63%. Extrusion sheets 20%. Foils are controlling 44% of domestic market and alloy wheels about 31% of India's domestic market. So it's a large producer by no means. It's a large producer by all the means that can be examined in Indian domestic industry. The company's growth, I have tried to compare that with the industry's growth. The company's sales has grown by 16.35% in the last 5 years in comparison to that of industry's growth of 15.18%, which is better than the industry average. The profit of Hindalco has grown almost 25%, 24.54% in the last 5 years in comparison to that of the industry, which is 15.65%. So if you compare the sales and profit, Hindalco's cost of production is comparatively very cheap. That's why even if there is very less difference between company's sales growth, there is a large amount of difference in the profit growth of the company over the industry. So Hindalco's cost of production is naturally allowed to be cheaper. Peer comparison with other industries in the same sector. Hindalco's sale is much larger than all of the 4 next companies taken together. The profit after tax of Hindalco is also more than that of the next 4. Actually, other than Nalco, no company in India can compete with Hindalco in comparison to the profit it makes. Market capitalization is also very large and it is also greater than Nalco. Overall rank, Hindalco is undisputedly number 1 company in Indian aluminium sphere. Now about Novelis, the target. Nobilis was the number 1 producer of aluminum rolling. It produces an estimated 19% of world's flat-rolled aluminum products, which is capable of being converted into cans and all. It is the world leader in recycling of used aluminum beverage cans, used normally by Coke, Pepsi, and similar companies. Novelis is also the #1 rolled products producer in Europe, South America, Asia, and #2 producer in North America, including United States. Some of its customers include Coke, Ford Motors, and General Motors, very high-profile customers. Novelis had 36 operating plants in 11 countries as of December 31st, 2005. 36 operating plants in 11 countries. The product portfolio of Novelis look like this. They are into transportation. They supply aluminum to transport industry. They supply large amount of foils for beverage industry. It's made use of cans. It also supplied large amount of foil packaging for medicines as well as food, and it is one of the largest supplier to construction and industrial uses in terms of aluminum extrusion material. You can see from the above graph that Nobilis supplies world leaders in automotive and transportation: Daimler Chrysler, Audi, Ford, and General Motors. Jaguar, of course not in India, they supply to Jaguar in Europe. Cans and closures to Coke, Crown Cork, Rexam. Building and industrial, they supply generally to Velux and Rason in the United States. Printing and lithographic to Kodak, Agfa. Flexible and semi-rigid packaging to Tetra Pak, which is the largest of its kind in the world. Nobilis had a very diversified presence. Construction was 24% of its total turnover, beverage 36%, transport 15%, foil and packaging 21%. Others are very low, 4%. Hindalco tried to acquire Novelis to take the advantage of the fact that Novelis is #1 in production of aluminum rolls. Hindalco would be able to save primary aluminum from India and make value-added product outside India in the facilities of Novelis. The acquisition will increase Hindalco's scale of operation, thereby reducing the cost, and thereby will guarantee an entry into a high-end downstream market such as United States and European Union, and it will enhance its standing as a global player. Nobilis, as I have already discussed, that Nobilis is a global leader in terms of volume in rolled products, containing 19% of the entire market, and it has an annual capacity of 2.8 million tons, 1/5 of world's total production. That is huge by any number. Nobilis also has a capacity to produce 3 million tons of aluminum, while Hindalco has capacity of 2,20,000 tons, which is much less. Hindalco planned to triple the aluminum output to 1.5 million metric ton by 2012 to become world's 5th largest producer by volume alone. By acquiring Novelis, Hindalco became world's largest producer of aluminum flat-rolled products. This acquisition gives Hindalco access to high-end products and also superior technology developed by Novelis. This deal will give Hindalco a strong presence in recycling of aluminum business, which Hindalco was not present at the time of and before the time of acquisition in 2007. It would also have taken minimum of 8 and 10 years for Hindalco to build these facilities. So that's why this is an inorganic scheme of thing for acquisition. Hindalco is also going to get the fusion technology of Novelis, which increases the formability of aluminium much quicker. According to reports, it would take 10 years and US $12 million to build 29 plants that Nobilis has with capacity to close to 3 million tons. So it requires large number of years and capital investment of around $12 billion in the price estimate of 2005 for Hindalco to build those capacities. So purchase of Novelis, acquisition of Novelis will not only give Hindalco access into downstream market, developed market of Europe and United States, North America, it will also make Hindalco an upward downstream producer. Thereby its reach will be much larger magnified, and it will also be able to create larger volume than what it is right now. Unlike the Tata Chorus deal, the bidding of Hindalco for Novelis was very low key. The market has hardly knew about the acquisition plans of Hindalco. The identity of other bidders and the price they offered are also not known. Although Birla said, Kumar Mangla Birla, the managing director of Hindalco and Birla Group, said that bidding was very competitive, so the reports did not rule out presence of other companies. Hindalco made only one bid, one share worth $44.93, and that won over the shareholders of Novelis. Rules of the deal: if 67% of the shareholders of Novelis okay the deal, remaining shareholders are compelled and bound by the agreement to sell the shares to Hindalco under Canadian law. If 67% approval is not obtained, Birla and Hindalco has the right to walk away from the deal. Hindalco made the Nobilis board sign a 100 million break free, the price Nobilis has to pay if it finds another buyer. There is also a clause of new buyer premium of a few dollars a share over $44.93. Only at that price can Nobilis entertain a fresh rival bid, which means if there is a rival bid more than that, then Hindalco will have to pay few more dollars. So bidding would have prolonged. So if at that point of time a new bidder enters the bidding, Hindalco has to cough up at least $5 more for one share than what Hindalco did. The deal was an all cash transaction deal which was worth $6 billion, which included debt of $2.4 billion in US dollar. Hindalco paid $44.93 per share, around 15% more than the market price at that point of time. Post acquisition, over 50% of the group's business could come from business outside India, which is currently only 30%. So the revenue will increase by an estimated sum of 20%, and this is going to grow for minimum of 15% each year for the next 30 years. Also, 20% of Hindalco's workforce will be based outside India. After the merger, Hindalco will emerge as the largest rolled aluminum products maker and fifth largest integrated aluminum manufacturer in the world. Nobilis also brings high-end technology. Nobilis has a global market share of 19%, while Hindalco enjoys share of 60% in the rolled products market. The Nobilis acquisition will give Hindalco a strong global footprint. Novelis is operating in 11 countries including Canada and the United States. It has around 12,500 employees. Its sale was reported to be $12.5 billion in 2005 and a net profit of $90 million in 2005. Novelis reported net sales of $7.4 billion and net loss of $170 million in 9 months during 2006 on account of low contract prices. So Hindalco doesn't have any surplus facility because of the low contract prices Nobilis has entered into previous to that of the merger and acquisition, and Hindalco lost some of the revenue. But in the long term, Hindalco's greenfield expansion will give a primary aluminum capacity of approximately 1 million tons more, but it will take around 3-4 years, like end of this year, to maintain that increase in productivity to come into effect. Considering these factors, profitability was expected in the year 2009 and 10, and they did exactly the same. Now the Hindalco's Nobilis acquisition is making profits for the company. The debt burden of Novelis stood at $2.4 billion at that point of time. An additional $2.8 billion will be taken by Hindalco for financing the deal. This will put tremendous pressure on Hindalco, which has to share the burden of higher interest rate. Hindalco's current expansion plan will cost 25,000 crores, and as a result, the debt burden and interest will increase much further. To fund the Novelis acquisition, Hindalco taken a loan of 3.1 billion US dollars. Hindalco personally will get a contribution of USD 450 million. Birla Company's other group, SL Mining, will contribute 300 million. Hindalco also wanted to raise $2.8 billion in terms of debt issued outside Indian market. It also wanted it also be funded through sale of investments, liquidation of investments of $455 million. Existing loans of $2.4 billion will be replaced by new term loan of $1 billion US dollar and high yield bonds of $1.4 billion in European market. So post acquisition, Hindalco became world leader in flat rolled aluminum products and recycled of product cans. It is also leading producer in aluminum and alumina in Asia. It has a strong geographical presence: North, South America, Asia and Europe. But at the same time, it has considerable weaknesses. The R&D expenditure is very low compared to the industry leaders. But there is the strong growth in consumption of aluminum all over Asia, because Asians are the least consumptive countries in the world in terms of per capita consumption of aluminum, but the demand is going to grow very strongly over the next 20-25 years in Asia. But there are certain threats which Hindalco has to incur. Prices of metals are highly volatile, so because of that, Hindalco has to look for reducing the cost of production further and become more competitive. Disruption can happen in those 36 plants which are situated outside India due to external factors which Hindalco will find difficult to control under certain circumstances. So we have discussed the case study of Hindalco acquiring Novelis. It was not rare, but it is one of the rarest Indian successful acquisition, actually one of the largest three, the other being Tata acquisition of Chorus and Airtel acquisition of Jane in Africa. So acquisitions can be tricky in international market due to the presence of various exogenous factors. But once Indian entrepreneurs, Indian managers, Indian administrators are going to external markets to get a foothold, they will bring more expertise, technology will be coming in, and they will gain EG and existing market access that will make them much sharper. That's it in the case study. I hope you will enjoy the facts and will be able to grasp it from your perspective. Next time we'll discuss something else. Till then, thank you.